And you heard it on BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey. Danny Pike here until midday. Good morning. Dave in Red Hill with his text says, the big worry is only 1 in 6 MPs bothered voting in a poll about them, and they moan about us voters not bothering to vote, says Dave in Red Hill. I think a 1 in 6 turnout at the general election would be a massive result, wouldn't it, in terms of voter turnout. Let's not talk about MPs anymore and their money just for a moment. Let's talk about your money and your pension. Details of a flat-rate state pension, thought to be around the equivalent of £144, is to be outlined by the government today. It says their plans for the new flat rate will make things simpler and will benefit women, low-paid workers and the self-employed. This will be done by removing means-tested top-up payments and will probably start in April 2017. But campaigners say it'll mean people will have to pay more and work longer for less than they get now. And here to explain more about how this will work is Jennie Kreser, a Surrey resident and pensions expert and partner at Silverman Sherliker in the city. Hello again, Jennie.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
It's always great to get you on here to make these complicated maths simple for us. So, what do you think? What's going to happen in 2017?
Well, in 2017, it's all change again for pensions.
No, just on that point, sorry, before I start with it, is consistent change any good for anybody?
No.
Because, you know, you start your if you pay into your pension when you're 20 and you get your first job, by the time you're retired, how many times has it changed?
Unfortunately, it seems to me that no government seems to be able to resist meddling with the pension system. And sadly, that's why we're in the mess, in fairness, that we're facing.
Sorry, I interrupted your flow, so off you go. So, in 2017...
In 2017, it's all change again. And instead of the current complex system of potentially 3 bits of pension that some people might have. So they may have what's called the basic state pension. They may have what's called the second state pension, sometimes previously called SERPs, if people remember those days. Mm-hmm. And then if that is insufficient, there's also sort of means-tested top-ups called pension credit, so that you get to a minimum level of pension income, which frankly, is not great. England has, the United Kingdom has one of the lowest state pension amounts in Europe, slightly scarily.
And why is that? Is that because we spent years not paying very much into it?
I think there's an element of that, although perhaps that's a little unfair. I think it is just that history, instead of a politician being brave enough in the past to say, right, so far, no further, we're going to sweep all this complexity away and have something straightforward and simple. What's happened over the years is that bits have been added on to other bits. And so you get this horribly complicated pension provision that we've got here. Right,
so in 2017, aren't they sweeping a lot of that away and saying, right, everybody, no matter who you are and what you did for a living, it's 144 quid a week, bang, there you go.
In a sense, yes, that is what's going to happen. But of course, there's all the transitional period for those who are still under the old system. So people who are already having their pension paid to them, nothing will change. It will be exactly the same as it is today. Uh-huh. It's only if you come to retire after probably the 6th of April 2017. We don't know the exact date, but given that governments like to introduce things on the 6th of April, let's say the 6th of April. Yeah. So if you retire any time after the 6th of April 2017, you will get this new flat rate pension. But of course, not everybody will necessarily get it. There are some conditions to get the full amount.
What might those conditions be, Jennie?
Essentially, it's how many years you've paid national insurance for. So if you've paid national insurance for less than 35 years, you may not get the full amount of this new whizzy flat rate pension.
So, I mean, because it's always a problem with women who take a career break to become mums, but less than 35 years, I mean, that gives mums plenty of opportunity to go back to work, doesn't it?
Well,
to have gone back to work?
I mean, I think women, mums, will be to some extent protected in this because obviously if they've been working, mums, up till then the fact that they may get maternity pay and maternity benefits, that will make sure that their national insurance still gets paid, essentially.
Right.
But also, if you've taken a break for child rearing purposes, then that's okay. That will still count towards your 35.
Okay, good.
So not married women, women with children will be one of the big winners out of this, because of course in the past, if women took career breaks, as they often did, then they would have had an interrupted amount of national insurance contributions, and often, of course, they earned less as well. And so all of that sort of added up meant that women often were the big losers under the old pension system.
And they were the ones who would live longer and retire earlier.
Well, and of course that's changing too. Not the living longer. Let's hope everybody's living longer. But
perhaps that's part of the problem. You know,
well,
we will be living longer. This is going to cost a fortune, isn't it, to ramp everybody up by about 40 quid a week?
In fact, in terms of the actual cost to the taxpayer, the clever guys, the actuaries that crunch all these numbers, they say that in fact it's going to be fairly cost neutral as far as the taxpayer is concerned, because you are going to have to pay national insurance for an extra 5 years, essentially.
Okay. Jenny, in our last 30 seconds before the news, when you heard about this, were you head in the hands, or you thought, goodness me, great, some common sense in the debate?
I think it's like all these things. It's not black and white. I think on the whole, most people are going to win. Yes, there will be some losers. There's no doubt about that. But when it all comes out in the wash in maybe 10, 15 years' time, hopefully it will be a nice, simpler system.
Jenny, thank you very much indeed for your expertise once again. Thanks.
It's always a pleasure, Danny. Bye now.
We always get to call on her to explain those very complicated things very straightforwardly to it, which is brilliant. So just what we want. Jennie Kreser, a partner at Silverman Sherliker in the city. Thank you very much. Our news next.